Moose Country has a certain feeling to it. Even before you see anything, you can feel that you're in the right kind of place. The land opens up differently. The water, the timber, the marsh, the broken edges between one zone and another, everything starts to suggest possibility. This footage was taken during a scouting trip in northern Quebec. The goal was not to make some polished, cinematic masterpiece. It was simply to get a better look at the country, to study the land from above, and to understand a little more of what this kind of terrain really looks like when you step back and you see the bigger picture. From the ground, you only ever get fragments. One shoreline, one trail, one opening, one section of timber at a time. But once the drone goes up, the whole structure of the land starts to reveal itself. You begin to see how the water connects, how the cover changes, where the terrain pinches down, where movement might make sense, where an animal could travel, feed, or hold up without being easily noticed. That's one of the things I find most interesting about scouting. You're not just looking for an animal, you're learning how a place works. You're trying to read the logic of the land. And out there is a lot to read. Northern Quebec has a way of making everything feel bigger. Distances stretch, the forest seems endless. A little opening on a map can turn out to be a huge section of country once you're actually there. And from the air, you get a much better sense of that scale. You see the long fingers of water, the dark stretches of timber, the wet ground, the hidden pockets, the little transitions that might not look like much at first, but start to matter when you think about how animals use terrain. Because Moose Country is not random. Wild, yes. Vast, yes, but not random. There is a pattern to it. Food, water, cover, travel, security. The land has a structure. And the more time you spend observing it, the more that structure starts to show itself. A shoreline is not just a shoreline. It can be an access route, a travel edge, a feeding zone, a place where movement becomes easier. A patch of thicker timber is not just forest. It can be shelter, a bedding area, a place to disappear. An opening in the wrong place might mean very little. An opening in the right place might be worth remembering for a long time. That's what makes scouting valuable. Not just the chance of seeing something, but the chance to train your eye, to stop seeing random scenery and start seeing relationships. And even when you don't find exactly what you hope to find, the process still teaches you something. Every flight, every angle, every section of terrain adds another piece. Sometimes it confirms the idea. Sometimes it kills an assumption. Sometimes it simply shows you how much country is really out there and how much patience it takes to understand even a small part of it properly. That's another thing about being in country like this. It humbles you. From above, everything can look simple for a moment, open, readable, manageable. When you get down to it, you remember very quickly that this is real ground. The brush is thicker, the water is deeper. The walking is slower, the distance is longer, and the land always has the final word. That's part of the appeal too. Places like this are not just backgrounds for content. They are not just pretty views. They are real environments with their own difficulty, their own rhythm, and their own rules. You do not master them in a weekend. You learn them slowly, one outing at a time, one mistake at a time, one good conversation at a time. And honestly, that's part of what keeps me coming back. There is something deeply satisfying about trying to understand wild country a little better. Not in some abstract way, but in a real, practical, grounded way. How does this place fit together? What makes this section different from the next one? Why does one area feel alive and another feels empty? Where would I spend more time? Where would I come back? What deserves a closer look? Those questions are part of the experience, and beyond the scouting itself, there is also just the simple fact of being out there, away from the noise, away from the routine, away from all usual clutter. Country like this has a way of resetting your attentions. It forces you to slow down and notice things properly. The shape of the shoreline, the way the timber changes, the openings, the shadows, the silence. Even without seeing game, there is still a kind of reward in simply observing a place like this carefully. You come back with more than footage, you come back with memory, perspective, a better mental map, a stronger feel for the land. And over time, that adds up. So that's really what these flights were about. Getting above the country for a moment, seeing the terrain differently, studying the shape of the land, trying to understand what can be hard to understand from the ground alone. And maybe most of all, just appreciating how wild and beautiful this part of Quebec really is. This is Moose Country, remote, broken, quiet ground. The kind of place that makes you want to keep exploring, keep learning. It still gives you something worth bringing home, even on the day when nothing is dramatic.